Good evening, my followers of fear. I know, it's been a while since we've had a proper video. I've just been very busy with stuff. Just, life, trying to get stories written, trying to get them published, trying to be a responsible adult with lots of bills and whatnot. But I've got some good news. I got a new short story out! Woohoo! And here's the book it's in. So this is The Shadows That We Carry. It's a charity anthology. The proceeds benefit the Macmillan Cancer Support Fund in the UK, which seeks to help everyone in the United Kingdom touched by cancer. It's a great cause, and I'm glad to have contributed something to it. And my short story, The Static Man, is this in this collection, which I'm very proud of. And I'm going to read part of it to you tonight. So, without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? The Static Man by Rami Unger. I try to get out of bed, but between the cold sapping all my energy and Audrey pushing me back down, it's useless. I might as well be tied up. Even so, I persist and try to get out of bed again. Please, I beg Audrey as she pushes me back down into bed. I can't miss my flight home. Katie, you're too sick to go anywhere. Audrey, he replies through her face mask, not moving her hands from my shoulders. She sighs with exasperation. And I don't know why you're being so stubborn. Even if you miss your flight and have to buy another ticket, or, God forbid, hitch a ride with someone, you'll still get home well before Christmas. I mean, for fuck's sake, what's the rush? I want to tell her the truth, that what worries me isn't getting home on time. It's that I don't want to be in Aurelian University for a second longer than I must. Not with it following me. If I tell her that, she'll think my cold is giving me hallucinations. So instead, I burrow deeper into my sheets and murmur, I have my reasons. Audrey sighs again. Well, whatever. Look, I have to get to work soon. If you think you can get out of the room and to the elevators, I'll consider helping you to the airport. But if you can't, you're staying put. Deal? I jump at the chance to get out of here, pulling off my covers and rising out of bed. However, the moment I do, a wave of dizziness washes over me. Audrey grabs me as I keel over, quipping, I told you so, as she helps me back into bed. You're too sick, she tells me. What you need now is rest, not a mad dash to the airport. Hell, if the rushing doesn't send you to the hospital, the flight to California will. I refuse to look at her, even as I know she's right. I can maybe make it to our dorm room's attached bathroom, but to the door and down the hall to the elevators, not a chance in hell. But I must go. I've only seen the thing on campus, so I want to see what happens if I go away. If I get as far away from Aurelian University as possible, maybe that'll sever the connection and it'll stop following me. I'm so desperate to escape it. I'm willing to test my theory, even if it kills me. Audrey checks her phone and curses. Look, I'm going to be late. You stay here. I'll be back this evening. You think you can survive till then? I nod, defeated. Can you hand me my phone? I ask. And my tablet too? She does, then turns and grabs her coat before leaving, closing the door behind her, leaving me alone in our small, wanly lit dorm room. I glance around nervously, making sure that I am alone, making sure that it isn't here. Then I reach for my tablet, log in, and prepare for myself to be distracted until Audrey returns and I can get out of here. First, I check my socials. Then I video chat with my parents and my twin sister Tessa, whose choice to study closer to home I now envy. Finally, I load a streaming service and put on the new movie starring Piper Yoon, my favorite singer and actress. That's when the on the back of my neck stand up straight. Dark desire radiates towards me from the bathroom. Slowly, as the opening credits to the movie roll past on my tablet screen, I turn my head towards the bathroom. Even though the light is off, I still see it standing inside the open door, and although it has no discernible features on its face, I know it is smiling. The Static Man has come for me. I first saw the Static Man as I was leaving the library one evening a month ago. I'd been there late with Audrey and a few of our mutual friends, studying like mad for our finals. Only the security guard coming around to let us know the library was closing could rouse us from our textbooks. Reluctantly, feeling like we could cram in just a few more facts if we stayed, we packed up our stuff and headed towards the doors. Outside, night had fallen and the air was chilly. Audrey and I split from our friends, who were heading towards the southern end of campus, and we headed north towards our dorm building. As we made our way north, Audrey regaled me with something that had happened to her today at her work study job. And in walks this woman in a bathrobe and slippers, demanding to speak to President Hill. She's shouting, swinging her coffee around, asking where he is and how she needs to talk to him about her son. And while I'm pressing the button for security under the table, I'm trying to tell her the president is not in the building right now, and even if he was, he only sees people by appointment. And she gets mad and starts shouting about how it was illegal for him not to see her because she paid his salary. And at that moment, my supervisor walks in. Something moved out of the corner of my eye. I looked to my right, then paused. Standing by the entrance to Tammany Hall was... well, I didn't know what it was. It looked like a human, or was at least human-shaped, but it appeared to be made entirely of static, like the snow on an old TV had popped off the screen and taken the basic shape of a person. And it was just standing there by the entrance, not moving at all. My eyebrows rose on my forehead. What is that? I wondered. Some kind of art project? I could almost imagine someone from the art department creating something like that. Maybe it was a statue with screens underneath the glass, and the screens were projecting static out at the world. A statement about the emptiness of man or something like that. As I continued gazing at the figure, however, the statue's head moved, looking right in my direction. I jumped, startled. There were no features, but I had the distinct impression that statue thing, if that was what it was looking straight at me. Maybe even staring at me. The hairs on my neck stood on end, and a chill that had nothing to do with the cold November night ran through me. Suddenly the world seemed to be shrinking around me, narrowing to encompass just me, the Static Man, the dozen or so yards between us. Terror overtook me, and I wanted to run, and yet I couldn't make myself move. I was frozen, and unable to step or look away at the Static Man. As the Static Man, although eyeless, continued to bore a hole in me with its gaze. It knows me, I thought, with the certainty of something you know deep down in your marrow to be true. It recognizes me. Sweat beaded on my forehead, and blood rushed in my ears. Any second now, I was sure that thing was going to start moving toward me, and I would be too scared to get away. Katie! A hand tapped my shoulder and I jumped. The paralysis broke and the world expanded again. I spun around, my hand on my heart as I sucked in deep lungfuls of air. Audrey was studying me, her mouth pursed with concern. Everything okay? She asked. I looked back at the entrance to Tammany Hall. The Static Man was still standing there, Still looking at me, I pointed at it and managed to sputter, "Look!" Audrey followed my pointing finger till her eyes fell on the static man. A second later, she looked at me and said, "What am I looking at?" My mouth dropped open in shock. I glanced between her and the stag man, my arms still outstretched as I pointed at it. "You don't see that?" I asked. "See what?" The the I couldn't find the words to explain what I was seeing. I was a poli-sci major, not an English major, and I don't read much fiction. Things like this never happened to me, let alone required me to come up with descriptions for them. "That thing over there with the static!" "What are you talking about?" Audrey's mouth tightened, her concern turning to deep worry. I turned my head desperately back towards the static man, unable to believe she couldn't see it. It was right there. Right fucking there! At that moment, one of the doors opened and two students stepped out of Tammany Hall, laughing. They walked right past the static man, continuing whatever conversation they'd been having before exiting the building. Neither one so much as glanced at it as they passed. My arm dropped as a worrying realization came over me. I'm the only one who can see it. Suddenly, Audrey pressed her hand against my forehead. She made a humming noise that let me know she was thinking. "Are you feeling all right?" she asked finally, withdrawing her hand. "You're not feverish, but if you're feeling bad, I could take you to an urgent care." I chanced another look at the static man. It was still standing there, not approaching, not moving, just looking at me and only at me. "No, I'm fine," I said, though I didn't sound too confident. I'm just tired, I guess. All these finals." Audrey, he still looked worried for me, but she smiled and put a hand on my shoulder. "Girl, I get it," she said, leading me away in the direction of the dorms. "But look, after we're done, we'll go get milkshakes at Ruby's and have a movie night. Something with lots of explosions and bullets and funny lines. The kind of thing that's perfect for turning off your brain cells with when you just want to relax." I perked up a little bit at that. "You're on," I said, stealing one final glance at the static man. It still hadn't moved. Despite that, I could feel its non-existent eyes following me, watching me go until neither of us could see the other. I think that's a good stopping place, don't you? But if you would like to find out what happens to Katie, what happens when the static man enters her dorm room, then you can go online now and grab a copy of The Shadows That We Carry, available now from Black Cat's Reading. And remember, her proceeds from every sale go towards the Macmillan Cancer Support Fund in the UK, benefiting everyone there who has experienced cancer in some form or another. Anyway, that's all for now, my followers of fear. I'll hopefully have another video soon, but no promises. Until next time, good night and pleasant nightmares!